This is Davey White, punctuating your mind. Something we do in our privileged Western world is to look for inspiration. Inspiration to be better, smarter, stronger. We see ads telling us that if we buy things, listen to things, eat things, do certain things, that it will make us better people. And we fall for this every time, hook, line and sinker. We are tricked by the promise of an easy and beautiful life, one where everything goes well for us, and we sure as hell know we deserve this. But what makes us better than people who don't get this? People who don't buy, listen, eat, or do. People who don't do any of that because they can't. Are they better than us? Are we better than them? Funnily enough, probably not. They have different rules to adhere to, and that's the irony. We're all trying to do these things, and we're convinced it will make us better, when it does nothing. And so we should just give up. We can't get that thing anyway, so why bother? I guess you have lots of answers. You want to argue with me. You have reasons to bother. You have things to justify your behaviour. Why you buy stuff, why you eat stuff, why you do things. These things matter so much to you, and even if you can't explain why, you're not willing to give it up. You don't like me telling you that it doesn't matter anyway, so why bother? You are challenged by this. Why do we do anything? Because we can't live with the consequences of not doing these things. We have determined that the level of regret we would feel is too great, and the impact on who we are as a person too large to ignore. So we buy, we eat, we listen, we do. We find people who support us in our philosophy, and we justify our actions with cries of, see, they're doing it too. It's okay. I'm not the only one. We see this as our measure of success. We justify what we do, knowing that someone will tell us that it's okay, that there's more time, try again later, better luck next time, who wanted it anyway. It was just too hard anyway. I could stand here and tell you stories of people who faced adversity and overcame it. In fact, that's what a lot of so-called inspirational speeches do. Have someone successful up there in front of the crowd yelling rhetoric, demanding you ask yourself why. Why can't you do it? If so-and-so could have, why can't you? You get annoyed, angry even. What does this person know about your life, your struggles? It's just damn hard, this bloody life. What does this person know about that? It's all right for them. They're successful. Something must have gone right for them somewhere. I hate that too. But this is not an inspirational speech. It's a challenge speech. I want to challenge the way you think about yourself. Challenge the goal you've set yourself. Challenge the excuses you give yourself. For me, success was having a colleague at my last school walk up to me and tell me that it was all good and well that I expect so much for the kids, because I just didn't know what it was like to have an unsupportive family. That if I had truly lived a life of hardship, I wouldn't be sitting there expecting that everybody had the potential to do something. For me, it was my brother saying to me that life was easy for me, and that everyone had the opportunity, that if everyone had the opportunities that I had had, their lives would be great too. It wasn't fair. Not everybody had the opportunities I had been given, and my delusion infuriated people. I just expected too much of people who had so many barriers in their way. Yes, that's when I knew, with no shadow of a doubt, that I was successful, that I had become a person that people saw as having no issues to overcome, no problems to navigate, as someone who sailed through life getting everything she needed, and anyone who didn't have what I had just hadn't been given the right tools. I knew that because that's not where I came from. And for people to mistake me for someone who had never had a barrier in her way showed the mistakes people make about success. The mistake of thinking that it's all about luck and opportunity and nothing at all about sheer bloody-mindedness and hard work. I've known the fear of being alone in a hospital room for months on end with no parent to comfort me. I know the shame of a body that doesn't work properly. I know the sorrow of losing a parent. I know the sting of a human hand and tongue, and I know the heartache that lingers. I know that every damn time you get past an obstacle, it seems that the world just shoves another one in your way. I know how unfair it all is, but I also know this. For Focusing on how hard it is does not make it easier. Telling everyone how unfair it is does not make it fairer. Telling everyone there is a mountain in your way does not make the mountain disappear. Wishing for someone to come and move the mountain for you does not make someone think that moving the mountain for you is something they can do. All that does is turn into a heavy, glutinous mess in your belly that churns up and makes you sick. It also stops you from achieving anything. Maybe you have the types of obstacles I had in life. Maybe there are more horrific things that have happened to you. Maybe less. We do share the burden of schoolwork though, and the pressure to work hard, to do more, to get better results. Some of us have life burdens and schoolwork burdens. Some of us just have school. All of us are feeling the pressure. But all of us can be successful. Success is as simple as this. It's about knowing that we have given it our all, that there was no more we could have done. It's about making sure we haven't set ourselves up for regret. Regret comes from seeing the obstacle and giving up, not looking for a way over, around, and through it. Saying to yourself that it's all too hard, so I'm just going to sit here and wish it would all go away. And if it doesn't, it's just not fair, and no one can expect me to have moved past it because other people didn't have that obstacle. Regret comes from telling yourself that you're okay with missing out, that you're okay with that obstacle getting in the way, that you're okay with not being able to see a way forward. Regret comes from thinking that you're supposed to do it all by yourself, and because you couldn't, you didn't. Regret comes from knowing you couldn't do some of it by yourself, so you didn't even bother to do the things you could do, because they led to the point where you needed help. And as that wasn't success anyway, why start in the first place? Teachers know regret. Your parents know regret. You may even know regret. That's why we push you so hard. We don't want you to have the regret as much as we did. We don't want you to be weighed down by it. We became teachers for a reason, not because it was a second option in life, but because we truly wanted to make the lives of young people, people like you, better. You see the work we ask of you as an obstacle. You see it as a means for us to make your life harder. We ask you to look again. VCE, life, is the mountain. The work we offer is a ladder. It is designed to push, to challenge, to make your brains hurt. This means it's changing you. This means it's making your brains better. This means it's making the mountain smaller. We're making a lot of ladders. We're making lots of things. All of them will help you get past those mountains. You mistake the things we do for mountains, and you sit down wishing they would go away. You wait for others to join you at the base of the mountain, and you find solace in the fact that others find things hard too. You watch other people climb over the mountain and say how easy it is for them anyway. They always make it over. You wait for the mountain to be taken away from you. It's not, and understanding that is the key. VCE, life, is hard, but there are people there to help. There are ways through it. It is a reciprocal thing though. You will get what you give. You take the ladder, the foothold, the clue about how to climb, and it's easier next time. If you write the essay, practice the equation, write up the prac, complete the report, it's easier next time. You know what you did wrong. You know how to make the harder to climb. You know what made the mountain harder to climb over. And you avoid doing that the second time. It gets easier to do that task, and that's the key. You have to do so much more yourself, only because it's the doing it that changes you. It makes your brain different. It makes you stronger. You wouldn't get to an elite sports level without training, and this is the same. Training happens often. Training is something you have to push yourself to do, and it's something you can't excuse yourself from. Reciprocity is not expecting others to work for you and you offer nothing in return. It is the give and the take of effort. You need to make sure the balance is there. So I ask you, what is your standard? What is the bar you've set for yourself? Is it that one that pushes you, or is it something you can walk over without any effort? Look for people who will help you. Don't look for people who will support your excuses. You need people who will challenge you to do greater things. People who will say, actually no, you should be studying now. Be that person. Offer that ladder to other people. Help them to get up from the ground. Tell them to come and study with you instead of complaining that it's too hard. Work together to smash through these mountains. Because the truth of life is this: you are here to make a difference to this world. You have an impact to make. That is what success is. Making the impact and difference you should have made, not lowering your expectations and accepting a lower level of change. Only you will know if you've made it. You can fool so many people, but never yourself. You can't delude yourself and wish away the regret. You can only know that if you gave it your all, or if you realised that you need to challenge yourself and you push from there. It's never too late to do this. Now is a good time. Don't let people offer you excuses. Don't let them stop you from reaching your goals. Their excuses won't change the truth that you were capable of more. Their excuses are just rhetoric, and rhetoric always leads to regret. Put this at the front of your mind, not at the back of your book. Subscribe. You know you want to.